You know, smile if you want, or not, your choice. I had two thoughts that I wanted to share about the practice today. The first is I was thinking of it earlier as the attention economy or attention management. If you went to the website, you'd see that under Meditation is Freedom, it says take control of your attention. And there's only so much attention that you have. I mean, you only have 24 hours a day. That's the most that you have. And we live in a world that is constantly demanding and pulling at our attention. And part of what this practice points to is you have a choice of what you want to give attention to. So that's an attention economy. Like you have a choice of I give it to this and I don't give it to that. When we're doing the meditation practice, we're giving attention to the three-pointed object of rising breath, falling breath, and in between breaths body. That's what we're giving our attention to. And every time we steer back, we get a little bit more attentional energy, a little bit less distracted. When you're off the cushion or you're not meditating formally, you also have a choice. You may have a worrying thought. There's a lot of stuff to worry about these days. And that might pull your attention repeatedly into like you have a thought. I know one of you is traveling tomorrow. And it's like, oh, did I get this ready? Oh, did I get it ready? Did I get it ready? You only need to check you have your passport 3 times. Once when you pack your bags. 2 when you get in the car. And then hopefully when you get to the check-in at the airport. The 5,000 times you might go back and worry about that is attention that you're giving away. And we do that all the time. Last night, Margaret and I were watching a TV series and we gave it 2 episodes. And we went, not worth the attention. I mean, it was okay. But, as my clock gets shorter and shorter, as one of the people in the morning thinks that there's less and less glass in the sand clock, right? Less and less sand in the sand clock, right? Less and less time left. It's like, oh, it's not worth my time, this one, right? So you have a choice. And the practice is reinforcing that. Every time you come back, you're choosing where to put your attention. So that's point 1. And point 2 is, in stage 2 practice, when you're really engaging with breathing in and all the layered richness of that experience, and the same for breathing out and in between breaths body, there's a lot going on. And that's a very rich experience. It's not boring. So sometimes new meditators, well, it's boring, there's nothing happening. Then give more energy to the attention. That's the remedy for boredom. So I could go on and on about that, but then I'd be boring about not being boring. So I'm going to stop talking and open it up for discussion. If anybody has anything you'd like to share, an experience you'd like to share, or a question you'd like to ask. Michelle.
Oh, I was going through exactly what you're talking about. This flu, cough, cold, anyway, and stopped coughing, blowing my nose throughout this whole thing. I'm like, oh, why am I doing this? And I thought, that's just something else that's drawing me away. I'm choosing to
Mm-hmm.
to be with that. So I just,
Mm-hmm.
like Margaret was talking about yesterday, like the windshield.
Right.
That was Monday, Tuesday, anyway. And choosing to have that windshield clear and be looking through it. And so it was just like, it was amazing. The difference was just like, it just opened up and everything,
Mm-hmm.
it was,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. In many ways, and what you said allows me, sort of prompts me to say, it's our resistance to the practice. I just don't want to do it, or I don't want to do it the way it's designed. That makes it hard. So our resistance makes it difficult, and our lack of engagement makes it boring. So if you give in and just do the practice, just drive the car, right? It's pretty easy. that requires effort, but it's not a difficult thing to do. And then the engagement takes you past the boredom. Helen.
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm noticing detail,
Hmm.
but I wonder about the worthiness of describing some of that detail to you people.
Um,
Seems a
yeah.
bit like how the air is entering the left nostril and the right nostril, and where is it traveling to the back and then down the throat and into my belly, and how the lungs are expanding and
Right.
condensing, and hello.
Yeah. 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 Probably not. I mean, but a very worthy detail from inside to be
Yes.
with.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also very curious in terms of um, my life experience, like
Hmm.
how it is impactful on my life and my life experience.
Hmm.
You understand?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to ask you to go a little deeper, though. I do have a question. How the impact on your life experience of the curiosity, or or another.
How I move through my life.
Mm, hmm. And can you help me with a question from there?
Well, yeah. I mean, it does have to do there. It does have to do with growth. Like
Hmm.
there's a growth on different levels,
Hmm.
like in your mind, in
Hmm.
your thinking, in your body,
Hmm.
in your talking, you know,
Yeah.
it, so okay, is this all spiritual growth? Is this what we're doing? Or
Um, and Joan, I see that you need to leave early. That's a very interesting question. Um,
my experience of reality, how does it impact my experience of reality? How I
one
participate with the world.
one of the things we wound up talking about this morning, so I'm going to repeat it. We came at it from a slightly different angle, but I think it speaks to what you're asking or what you're commenting on. Um, you have this internal experience of all the things that are happening, breathing in, breathing out, so forth. And they are especially at stage two, they're very body oriented. They're very, at least the beginning of it is very physical. Like that's how the instructions are given. Right? Like you're noticing the air coming in. It's a physical thing. Right? Like what's it feel like? All that stuff. And it's like you're going through a doorway into a closer engagement with the object of attention. On the far side of the threshold is a much more open experience of full humanity. As you walk through the physical threshold of paying attention to those experiences, you actually become more present. But you can't, at least from my side, be partly present. If I walk through a room, I'm in the room. I can't like be half there, half not there. It's not like some kind of quantum thing of like I've crossed this threshold of attention. So you might notice that in addition to the physical things, then your emotions and your thoughts are much more accessible, or your memories. And surprising memories come up, or emotions that I wasn't feeling that way, and now there's a flood of that, whatever X is. Um, I might be working with my breathing. Last night, Margaret and I were talking, and I was talking about my dad. And Tom, my father, passed away 30 some years ago. And, it's like I might have a really deep memory of how it was to be with him. And I didn't expect that. I was just like being with my breath. And it's a flash. right? Or a very quick momentary glimpse of like, that's what it's like to be Brian, or that's what it's like to be you right now. So it's a more full human presence. And the impact in your life, to take it from meditation, like if you're doing that with the breath in, breath out, body, and you're just resting and allowing yourself to be present, and not allowing, like the with my dad, like telling myself a story about my dad, or like going into a long thought, like just feeling it, like it's very quick, right? And then back to presence, right? Then if you do that on the meditation cushion, then you have a much greater ability to do that off of like when we're not meditating. You're more fully in your life. And I believe the world responds to that. And I believe, I was talking about the attention economy, our social world and our media world and all that other stuff is set up to not have you be fully present. You're much more manipulatable, and I can make money off of you easier if you're distracted. So, being here fully present is like, oh, that's really good. And then the world responds, and you're more alive. So focused, attentive presence is like crossing the threshold. Right? So I don't know if that speaks to what you're asking, but that's sort of what comes to mind. Helen, do you want to say anything back?
No, not right now, thanks.
Okay. Anyone else? Well, that's a lot to chew on, what I just said. That's a lot to think about. Um, you know, I as a meditation teacher, I've often been struck by how meditation is promoted, let me use that word, to folks and it's just like, well, you'll feel less stress. That's not necessarily the same as more present. Or you'll only feel good emotions. Well, that's also not necessarily the same as being present, because most people have a mix of happy, sad, you know, joyful, angry, painful, pleasant feelings and experiences. Fully present means fully available. And so it's sort of like this is taking you in a different direction. And it's why when we start with the intention, it's really important to, like, I'm going to focused attentive presence, believing that that's a good thing. That's where this practice takes one. And that the natural good qualities of mind, of which there are many, will just, because they're natural, they'll just be there if I can step into full presence. Right? So that's sort of one of the underlying assumptions of the practice. That feels like a conversation stopper. Friends, I do love practicing with you. It's something I look forward to every day, and I hope you do too. And I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So if there's nothing more, okay.
Thanks, Brian.
See you down the road. You're welcome.